Hi, this is news. Mima Obibia Akwaba. Ahadie latest and hot news and I'm a Bremo. Enuti se winner subscribe ya or more than say over subscribe to the channel. You will say over click the subscribe button. Now what barely notification where there's a new video be upload or the first person I was sabeka video. Afriyie, give us a thumbs up. My thumbs up, Gyamfi. Share my offer for us. No be here since I had the latest and hot news and I'm a Bremo. Afriyie share a year and someone apeto ye posu. Inti a year sankomoya airposu. Someone apeto the inti.
Ye be son about a nipa 8 ne wu 2020 abato. Funny enough, a nipa ne wu 2020 no so. Semi nintra, I think so all 8 of them na omo ye ni nua no Muslim for. Or no ani nua no nkramufo maku 8 ne ebo wo mutu 14-year-old girl no ye Muslim. So we share the photos or she hijab or ye Muslim. Abbas Abelekuma Muslim. Eno omaka. Unti enkwasi asema Bawumia eka kire Ghana for enra. And so this man is the head chairman of Ghana Police Council. Akwa we wa bujira ke ya pamona who be the president. Unti asema ka kire Ghana for enra efa asema no. Unti
was a question that 8 people that
you see adebakwa mempe wo me life mu ye. When there's a difference between thinking or assuming something and knowing. You've been asked a question. You know you've been asked a question. We'll say, I think there's a question. No, you don't think there's a question on the killings. You've literally been asked a question about it. So you know the question is there. Say, I think. So
you are watching Juicy News on YouTube. Hot news all time.
Ghana 40, the whole world DT.
Election and the president or me, we have not commented on it. I'm not quite sure whether the
observe him body language. Body language. Ghana for it. Camera name. Ye bisa was such a very serious question. Ye kum nipa 8 2020 abato under your regime. And on Emma was second term. Emma what me the vice president for 8 years. Any ye bisa specific question say both wo any president ni na assembly see basin ne mon kasamfa. What do you have to say about it? Mo say on to me share camera name. Yes. On to me face yen and bear in mind we or share camera anymore. He's looking at us. Mo say on to me share yen. And na on to me share yen. It was seen it yasi. Throughout the entire time. Or answers our question. We seen it yasi. On to me share yen. Bawumia could not look us in the face, eyeball to eyeball, and answer that question. Now, count the number of in that one, response or Babema.
Commented or not, but any time we lose a life in any circumstance, it doesn't have to be an election. I think it's really a very sad event when you talk about loss of life. For anybody, and so I think that it's very, very a sad occurrence if for people who died during the election.
Anytime anybody dies anywhere, kumunipa wa bebia will be woo or bebia. I sad. I am mobo. In this case, it was a sad occurrence. Not a sad. Asa. When out the crack question is Akwa we bet me after wabra bosho another 4 years. We obet me a protector. Oda ubet me ada wagana ho. Ubet me ada wagana ho. Ubet me ada wagana ho. Say Bawumia is in charge of national security. President, commander in chief or Ghana so. Oda abeda. Ye kum Ghana for makum 8. Ye see dienti na one kasan fa ho emra assembly si ye. O si onim se president akasa fa ho ana on kasan fa ho. Okay na wo wa kasa fa ho o kasa fa ho. Oh, so 4 years later Nia utumi ka ya owo de owo bia yo owo bia ya a sad event, a sad occurrence. Like to be edum say like maybe something just went dark. It was a sad occurrence, sad event. This sucker here was not able to tell us last night that, first of all, I apologize for not speaking on this matter 4 years ago. I send my deepest condolences to the family and to all those who were affected and to all Ghanaians. I am promising Ghanaians that a moto mame na me be the president now. I will investigate. This should tell more Ghana for the Bawumia can never investigate any of these people who have chopped our money. Bawumia cannot investigate anybody in his government. Nobody in this NPP, he cannot investigate anybody. He cannot prosecute nobody. Because the first thing he should have done last night, was to have apologized. First of all, you send your condolences to all the bereaved families. That is leadership. You give us assurances. So, Ube looking into the matter. You will commence, you will set up a committee, an inquiry, something to look into the issue, and all those who need to be brought to book will be brought to book. But you see, the reason why he can never say that is because that thing was done on their behalf. It was done on his and Akufo Addo's behalf to enable them become president and vice president for a second term. And it is a Hobson Addoye situation, you know. Hobson did them a favor by claiming that woman got to dynamite be war Togo border. And now they know a man. Hobson, the son says, be moving so cheap be into another much miss more prosecuted. Dating about Bawumia to me in Ghana for any man catch a Ghana for say or no bar or baby investigations into that issue. It was done for him. It was done for him. And so okoye mistake ko catch and say oba will be investigations are all my yes on their behalf will start talking like Hobson Addoye is talking. Because I was saying kwaya de makwaya mawewi and then they all become here gums over be investigating me. Oh, any you back down. This is an idiot who sits in Ghana and tells Ghanaians nothing serious is happening in the West. And not the same sucker ejina na ade na se press meeting na se kachira wo say in the West they are very disciplined and very serious over there. This guy is an idiot. Okoto abama na Captain Smart kachira mo. Wa beto abama ba wo bia unnim nyansa.
8 people died in the 2020 election, and the president, we have not commented on it. I'm not quite sure.
He's not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. Chairman of the police council. Chairman of the police council. You were chairman of the police council from 2017. Tin Honorable Kennedy Agyapong kachire ye say Ahmed Swale wono say ye pese ye hu ni pokun Ahmed Swale. We should go and ask Bawumia because or ye chairman of the police council. This guy onim ni pokun Ahmed Swale, onim ni pokun JB Dankwa, onim boni akoso wo Ghana nyinara Akufo Addo abem. Oso ye Muslim, oso manyame kuta Quran on kanokore. Or say I'm not sure. Vice President who be facing the press, you are not sure.
A question that 8 people died in the 2020 election, and the president, we have not commented
you are
on
watching
it.
News on YouTube. Hot
I'm not
news
quite
all
sure whether the president has commented or not.
And you're in your office. This is your office. This is President's office in Jubilee House. You are not sure. Common sense and can't just say this is a major issue of public interest. Enti wo bebano ye be bisa enti wonya sure kranka ye quick bisa just call Richard Ahiagba, call Miracle Abuajena, call Madam what they saying omo Google president office wono Madam Sarah Tunum fra wo mo na some quickly call the president himself. Jack you know no issue what can be frega bisa no did the president ever when you sure you see the disconnect? No, do you see the disconnect? You see the disconnect Ghana for. Now imagine say 14-year-old no senko ya wo ba. And only ye bisa kiesta man. You see, imagine these children, emu bako ya 9-year-old daughter na. 14-year-old girl na womukum 2020 senko ya wo ba.
We lose a life in any circumstance. It doesn't have to be an election. I think it's really a very sad event when you talk about loss of life for anybody. And so I think that it's very, very a sad occurrence.
Do you know say it is a sad occurrence, or you just think that it is a sad occurrence? And abrofuna won't. Asamaba. It is not just sad. Won't to me any other better word than sad. It is a sad occurrence. I think that it is a sad occurrence. You don't know that it is a sad occurrence, but you think.
During the election.
Yeah, Bogana fought you live. Rounds of ammunition, you fired live. Does it look like a sad occurrence to you, Bawumia, Vice President? Imagine your brother Abraham Bawumia was standing there. Imagine your brother Baba was standing there. No, just imagine your wife Samira was there. Any of your children. Imagine Abu Ramadan was standing there. And to you think it is just a sad occurrence, sad event. And don't you believe that this requires some investigations, some probing into, that we need to get to the bottom of this matter? You don't think so? You don't see the need? And that was it. He left. That was his response. Asa budget ya enyawo budget yate ya kumunipa one kasa 4 years ago. Brana beke bi enen so a you think sad it was a sad occurrence. Yen fancy wa yen fantry he ya. So that he said I was counting the he said it 975 times. I'm telling you, current affairs update you. Na ye kura ye vice president. Me se me call Ghana na no. Na me bo miti o madam fu bi fi. Eya me se TV mo fanto metro mami o se na he so ne metro no ma kire o ne ye de ato. Eya me se mo fanto good morning Ghana mami o se na wo ti abrochire ye te Ghana ha we mu nyina mpo ye nhwe wo ni na me so ye me we are on top of issues going on back home. Wo na wo ye vice president na ye brief you and apabiano. Chairman of the police council.
You are watching
Juicy you don't know whether
on
the
YouTube.
President. Who cares about
Hot
what
the
President Akufo Addo doesn't want to be president again. Who now will be the president? Who person will be president? Made such a fool of yourself last night, Dr. Bawumia. You made a fool of yourself. Mami has me Kubina now say in Europe there's discipline in the West. I thought to myself, we not say nothing serious is happening in the West. Just a who contradict and not say an ability. And not say or chain not say and not say.
Things work.
Yeah.
In the advanced countries, things work. People are disciplined because the systems are there to check you. You know, systems check you. And so
now, are you not the same person who said recently that nothing serious is happening in the West? If I were cast as I'm not twice. Who catch that one more Ghana who said nothing serious is happening in the West? Yeah, Jimmy you go akwentum. Be anywhere I go show wa kroya ansusu say. Yeah, her system.
Countries things work. People are disciplined because the systems are there to check you. You know, systems check you. And so
and now by the president 8 years no na system vice no na systems bang na would me the bar Ghana ho to check anybody. First of all, a dear system na would the bar ya a bit me a check away so that we in Konko bubu Mr. Otibonsu 9. No, the past 7.5 years, almost 8 years, more than 7.5 3 months. What systems did you, this sucker here called Bawumia, put in place so that your wife Samira could respect the laws of Ghana? Samira ko bubu Mr. Otibonsu 9 mako 10. Moti woman person mobile address or nini Abu Ramadan. Systems when I will put you in place so that your wife will be disciplined. Your wife broke the law. She went against court rulings. She knew that there was a stay of execution. She and her brother illegally Ahemachi could demolish Mr. Otibonsu 9 mako 10. Ewa jengano. Took a fake court eswa vigilantes Ahemachi ko bubu udahino. Ebesi ende. Won't to me addresses our issue no. all the systems. Check your wife. Check your wife, Samira Bawumia. Check her first. Before you check anybody, check Samira. Check your in-laws, Abu Ramadan and co. Let us see that the systems are working with them first. We hear it to our real estate lands, allegedly. South African embassy opposite to her. And a Cynthia die, front to no mademano. What me a check you one way? What me put two systems in place? Now, who would them say they see putting systems in place? And who cat was in hydroom? So what kind of systems are you talking about? Now, who name systems you cannot even take responsibility for your actions and your inactions, but you now only have systems. Okay, yanko another one. You see, menchira mo sa nkwa siafo we omo problem baako. Look at mo vice president Muntie no ha.
Baby afa message o mama. It be masiba no judge o mama.
Aha, mo downfall na enie. Mo downfall no enuni. NDC fo enya ni papa pe bia amfa na message o mahama. Enti wasewa no. It means who be did the attempt. Who be did the John Mahama attempt. Because a young say atem didie and a young gun will be president who did atem yeshe. Vice president who did atem yeshe. Now where who acquire wow NPP for the honorable Kennedy Agyapong for last year. NAPO. Well, 10 things of Kennedy Agyapong. What's one? Where we any 10 things of NAPO and the whole chair party no mono MPP no mono flag bearer could wound to mean DB. You don't need to look too far. Just to show you honorable Kennedy Agyapong. Honorable Ken unim de chucha in the last year. Ni numa pa ne chucha 37% no nya ni numa pa. We needed to rise above Sebio atem didina na honorable so odidi the first no. We needed to rise above it. And now look at the potentials that okay, he employs over 7,000 people in Ghana. That's a take. Or see the largest coal store in Africa, take, because of employ more people. The largest steel plant in Africa, take. Ye shedding in area, a numa power ya wo party near more dear bagana, atwa bugas, say or so contribute ya obian to me dispute ye, we dam sinohydro diamba or yes sinohydro in Africa, ye shedding in area who's okay. Then ne temper, ne kasa, sa near money, he can be coached. Nti yen hwe enwuma ne so eno na twitwaje honorable Kennedy Agyapong e mani nya 37%. Wo e dey na betwitwaje wo daachi. How many people do you employ in Ghana NAPO? How many people have you ever employed in Ghana privately as a private person? Honorable Kennedy Agyapong no live 2 lives. Private individual, public servant. Ukase fi ukasa tan NAPO wasewa no obi ababe divide ye woman fa because you know say enkurasi for low level, low life, low class enkurasi for nego MPP no no sebi dudu na go Ashanti region no almost ankwasi akasa na ye omode. So let me give them what they want. But odwene ye ho odwene international community for so omutie dia wo kan. Today they all know say wunimu nyansa. They all know say carry weight, NAPO. Do you think any of your British colleague politicians will ever talk like that? That was sinano. Ghana should ye kurom ye kasi obi asenano. It means why you're ready. Who be did the attempt? Ya mesen ko to abamao and the best you could produce last night. And now to wa dan was when him go egu ase. When him go egu ase. Mo problem no. Mo ye too no. Mo jimu hu di dodo. So mo ye empty vessels. And Dr. Anthony Akoto was say of blessed memory okay, you know. Or say we have the men. 70% of you guys are bullshit na mugu MPP. Okaya or more. Bawumia is just as worse as Ofori Atta. Papa no okaya or more. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Now, and we are no more move on. Yes, I'll be another question. Yes, you only see a near ma or feel so or buy and the government a failure on. Now you're testing the honesty. Yeah, rest a kakrebi an iota of honesty in power because yeah, regular enuma ye kure. Uko interviewer, ye baby sao. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And you should be able to point out some weaknesses about yourself. Because you're not perfect. Everybody is work in progress. Listen to this sucker here.
You bear some collective responsibility for the outcomes of government's efforts, either successes or failures. Mr. Vice President, can you state 2 failures of your current administration which you seek to correct, and how do you intend to do this differently should you become the president? Thank you.
Point number 1, maybe ye Bawumia akamuni madia make say ya fairly on the e-levy. Because eno na waka akere ye say uba ubetwem. So we pese we please ye. And to me, I can make us say, you know what? We failed on the e-levy. We got it wrong. And nothing na maka akere mo say me ba metwem. And then what else? Maybe going to IMF. Kagana for Becca said, okay, maybe we are beginning to turn the corner indeed. Listen to him.
Question, what failures that you think in this government that you would see to correct? I was thinking a little bit about that. I don't know if I mean, for one, I think that I wish we had built in, for example, we had started the gold pages.
I think I wish, wishful thinking. Dr. Bawumia, do you know me? As I'm sitting here, do you know what I wish for Ghana? As I'm sitting here now, I wish all the streets of Ghana were done. They were all tarred, all nice and clean and tidy. I wish all the schools in Ghana were robust. Our education system, we were well resourced, well equipped. I think as I sit here, I wish that we had more hospitals in the country, very well equipped. I wish we had, good systems like we do in the UK. I wish our currency was, very strong. I wish the things I am enjoying here in the UK and I've been doing for the past God knows how many decades. I wish I wish by now Ghana would have landed on the moon a couple of decades ago. I wish by this time your rail network is you building a couple of underground systems. Eka wishes and when you did president. Oh, any kamemefa forms. I wish. And a route is one on baby clean drinking water for everyone in Ghana. I wish we had
The question, what failures that you think in this government that you would see to correct? I was thinking a little bit about that. I don't know if for one, I think that I wish we had built in, for example, we had started the Gold Pages program much earlier. If we had started it in our first term of office, for example, the buffer in terms of gold reserves would have been much bigger. As I said, a few years ago, we had 8.7 tons of gold, and I think so far we are almost they've bought close to about 72 tons.
Meanwhile, we've been told, say gold for oil, President Mahama Abeka Chere Ghana for. Or Beka, yes, so far, moon to me, Meka say, oh, did draw. Yes, say IMF for see gold for oil. No, it is not working. Still, I wish we had started it earlier.
So it's very, something that I wish when I sit back and look and I say, wow, I wish we had been able to buy a bit more and start gold for oil and gold for reserves much earlier. But as I said, the crisis is what really made us to get into these policies. Of course, I also wish that we had, even though we built more school infrastructure than any government, I believe that we've still had challenges with the senior high school in terms of infrastructure.
Oh, so finally you admit that the free SHS no more implementing it. Finally you admit. And if you knew, say, you guys have been having challenges with infrastructure, why have you left the e-blocks untouched? E-blocks for 8 years. You are struggling with infrastructure. Somebody has built some of the infrastructure. It is there. You would rather leave them abandoned and come and tell us 8 years later that you were struggling with infrastructure. So it means all this why kick them free SHS now yo ma cramping kwarane go classroom ti say sardine o tu come before kwarano ma cramping to the point where you people are doing traffic light system in 2024 only for you to turn around and come and tell us that you had infrastructure issues. But the e-blocks are there. The e-blocks are there. But you see, Ghana phone kwasiafo yen ya lawo kwasiafo Ebeka chere yen say, oh, mahama kosi e-blocks ne gungurem. No, I see e-blocks ne gungurem man. Chakwai tumwe. Raja, greetings to you, bro. Long time. Also, bomba musical interlude, meba. What ya say? Mahama kosi adene gungurem man. Chakwai tumwe. Chakwai tumwe. For a couple of buses to tumwe den kwana nebekwe. And the moment I'll be chakwai tumwe the couple of buses. Who knew? Yesusana abekate sano homo. Na ukase obi kase oko pokuasia. Na pokuasi ewurem. Yesusano obi kase oko pokuasia. Ufu se wedru kumasi kurewie. Senior meba mebo nyomana mao meba. Dia mahama no nyomana 24-hour economy nyomana na opa na se de mami hu. Oti asie Yesusano obi kase oko pokuasia. Na me antibiti domi ya kase domi no muti nwura mu kwabenya na kwabenya mmiye se de ne kwabenya bie no Yesusano sa woti akra na obi si oko kwabenya ase o free land oko outside London just oko outskirts and hwe se de ni nyina bue aye baako aka bom enso ye pene so mankrofo we be ka kire ye se president Mahama e e-blocks e gumuram and the e-blocks ni na kamurem.
Yo, it is for waiting and someone about beto yapon so we are subscribe to channel ya bomodi and say over subscribe to the channel no. Now feel so or like video give us a thumbs up. Now feel share my of first no maybe here sense hadie latest and hot news in Kwana very Prempeh. I feel so also betting at share what we have here at some way now I will comment box over to in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.